Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee with Colin. Welcome to my latest episode, and I am so excited tonight because I've got one of my buddies who is a fellow thespian, and we're going to be asking him all about his amazing career and talking to him about what it's like to work in Hollywood. He's also a musician, and he's married to a beautiful woman named Jamie Chung. And this devilishly handsome young man, you've seen him on shows such as One Tree Hill, October Road, The Perfect Score, The Mindy Project. He's also starred opposite Meryl Streep, one of my favorite actors, and Uma Thurman in Prime. He's been in Bride Wars with Kate Hudson and Friends with Benefits. He and I also actually were in two movies together. One of them was called Vice with Bruce Willis, and the other one was called The Good Guy, which was one of my first acting roles ever. And I learned a lot from this young man. He also starred in one of my favorite TV shows ever, How to Make It in America on HBO. I was very, very bummed when that got canceled, and so was AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys. And we're going to be talking to him about that. But without further ado, please put your hands together for Mr. Bryan Greenberg, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, what an intro. That was
What's up, dude? How are you?
I was like, I did all those things?
I know, right? As I look back, I'm like, Jesus. That's
Man, we're getting older, man.
Yeah, but you definitely have an impressive resume, and got a lot of good questions in store. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm so happy you're doing this.
It's been definitely a time of pivot, as they say, right?
Well, yeah, you got to figure something out, right?
Yeah.
We're all stuck at home. We got to figure, as actors, we're not working. You know, this is not happening right now. So with COVID, so we gotta do something. So
yeah, so you're in Brooklyn right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any signs of it lightening up over there?
Actually, it's been, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been here since March, and it was scary, like very, very scary. We don't need to get super dark, but we live by a hospital, and we saw things, and all of our friends were sick, and it was bad. It was really, you saw the news, it was bad.
Yeah.
But New Yorkers have a way of following the rules, working together, and we're tough people. We're strong, and we know how to work with other people. So we all put the masks on, we all social distance, and we're getting a handle on it. And now it's really cool. A lot of the streets have closed down, but the restaurants has outdoor seating now on the street.
Yeah.
It's become like this kind of cafe like atmosphere, almost like Paris. And it's kind of, I kind of love it. It's great.
It's actually,
it's great.
Yeah, it's definitely, this slowdown has definitely been in a lot of ways a nice little reset, because I think, just with the rapid pace of the way things were going, it just kind of, it was easy to kind of get caught up in just trying to keep up and keep your head above water.
Yeah.
And I would say the past 6 months, I've really reflected on, what am I going to do through all of this, and how am I going to maybe come out the other side as a better person, as someone who can take what I was already doing with regards to my acting career, but then take it to that next level, so to speak, where I always kind of felt like I was on that hamster wheel of trying to go on these auditions and get the next job.
Yeah.
And I always had ideas of like, okay, yes, one day I do want to write, one day I want to develop, but I was like, well, one day will be someday. And eventually, after being stuck at home for a few weeks, you're like, okay, I guess now is that someday, right?
Someday, yeah. So what have you taken out of this whole situation?
Yeah, so I was actually supposed to be on my one-man show tour starting in May. So I had this 20-city tour based on my book that I wrote, Agile Artist, and that whole thing came out of me actually just deciding that I was tired of going into these auditions, waiting for someone to choose me to do what I love to do. And so, I see it with you and a lot of other actors, artists out there where you've actually started to get into writing as well. And you also create your own music. Right?
Yeah. It's funny enough, like I've always been a actor, musician, but since the coronavirus, like I thought I'd be playing a lot of music. Like this would be the time to like write an album, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But I have not been inspired to play. It's just like, I know, like I like to gear up to a show where I know I'm gonna be playing in front of people and like, I see that happening. I've done a couple little live concerts for people like on Zoom and, for charity and whatnot. But my creative energy, since I can't put it into acting right now, it's been in writing. So I've been developing and writing films. So, and I finished one, so I feel somewhat accomplished.
Real awesome. So you finished it during this time?
What's that?
During COVID, you've written this script?
Yeah. I just started going out to producers with it, and we'll see. I mean, some people who've read it liked it, and I don't know. Yeah, this these things take years to happen, but I feel like I didn't totally waste my time.
Well, Rosalinda Hyde says she loves your song 36 Hours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You happen to have your guitar right there?
I don't have it right here. No, sorry.
Ah, okay. I was going to say you could bust out a tune for us.
Nah, not. You should have given me a head up. Warmed up the vocal cords a little bit.
Yeah. So you have been. I think we've pretty much kind of have had a similar trajectory with our acting careers, and as I mentioned in the beginning here, we've done a couple of films together.
Yeah, The Good Guy.
Yeah. Did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since I was like 10, I was in a ballet.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. I was a nutcracker. My sister was auditioning for it in Omaha, where I grew up, and they needed boys to audition. So I was like, my mom kind of shoved me in there, and I was like, I don't know how to dance. I don't know anything. But I just kind of ran around and did some somersaults or whatever, and I got the part. And then I got to get out of school for 3 weeks and perform all over Nebraska and South Dakota, and we went on tour, and I just loved the stage. I thought this was so cool. You could just step on stage and be in a different world. Yeah. And I got home, all my friends made fun of me so bad that I stopped doing ballet, but I got into theater.
Yeah, it's similar, because my sister was also an actress, and I was kind of shy and introverted, but my sister was always like, I want to go on these auditions. So my mom would schlep us around, and then my sister would go up there and audition, and my mom would be like, you want to get up there and do it? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, it was like, what else am I going to do? So I ended up actually booking a role in this play, and my sister didn't. But great about what my mom did was that on the first audition, she had us both show up, and so we both go up there, and then they were like listing out the list of characters that we were supposed to play, and my sister was up there, and they didn't have a role for her, and she was like, well, she basically pretended. My mom said, just pretend that you got a role, and they gave her a part. So we were actually in this play together.
That's great.
Yeah. I give my mom a lot of credit for that kind of stuff.
Well, my sister didn't get the Nutcracker, and I did, so I always kind of held that over her. But then later on, we both auditioned for Fiddler on the Roof, and I just got like generic chorus member, and she got one of the lead roles, so she still holds that over. Okay. Me. Yeah.
And is she an actress as well?
No, she's a teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
God bless her. Yeah. But yeah, Good Guy, and we did Vice.
Yes. Yeah, and it's funny because when people say like, oh yeah, you guys are in that movie together, but we actually never had any of our scenes together. So who did you play?
The Good Guy we did.
In The Good Guy we did, yeah.
Yeah.
On Vice, I was the mad scientist who fixes the robots in this fantasy world. Oh, it's almost like Westworld. Yeah. And then I get electrocuted.
Yeah. That movie was strange. It was fun, but I thought I was supposed to be a scientist as well, and I got down there and they were like, so here's your gun. I'm like, why do I have a gun? They're like, oh, there's been a rewrite. I'm like, what's going on? What movie am I doing?
Yeah.
The movie changed on. It's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely it's crazy because the patient that I was working on in that film, he was one of the producers. So you know how like producers will put up some money and then they just want to make a small cameo in the film. Yeah. And it was this English guy, And so we got to talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually producing the movie." And I was like, "Oh, really? No shit." I was like, "So, what attracted you to this particular script, above all others that you've read out there?" And he said, "Oh, I didn't read the script." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I didn't read it. I just knew that they were casting Bruce Willis. So I knew that it will make 4 million in England. It'll make 3 million in Australia. It'll make 2 million in Kazakhstan." The movie making business, unfortunately, has changed in that sense, where it's not necessarily about the material. It's about who is cast in the film. And because marketing budgets are so astronomically crazy expensive to promote films, unfortunately, movies have to cast actors that have a name so that the name itself will do the advertising. Because on a traditional blockbuster movie, I mean, your ad spend on that is just to get any eyeballs on there is like at least 30 million. And I mean, that's why no one really makes movies anymore, because it's too expensive.
And also, who's going to the movie theater?
Yeah, right. Well, no one now.
Yeah, which sucks because I love independent films. That's like what I grew up watching. It's still what I love to do probably the most of all. I mean, I've worked on studio films. I've worked on TV. I love indie films. I just love coming together, rolling up our sleeves, and getting it done and telling like raw and interesting stories. And it's just a medium it's dying. It's getting squeezed out. But there is a home for some of these films on the streamers. But it's not like it used to be.
Yeah. I think Netflix is amazing, and so is Amazon Prime. But also at the same time, it just definitely has changed the whole Hollywood model. I mean, everything is streaming now, and we're looking at short form content on Quibi, like 10-minute.
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at it, but I just know it's all like short form.
Yeah, content. I know what it is, but I just don't know
people's attention spans are like 2 seconds nowadays. Yeah. But you actually just produced an independent film, didn't you?
I produced
Already Tomorrow.
Yeah. Jamie and I, my wife and I, produced that and started in that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so this is awesome, because I've always wanted to know exactly like what the whole production process is. I've actually, I've been attached to producing a couple of projects, but never have actually gotten them made.
Right.
So your wife, the beautiful Jamie Chung, who was on. So did she get started on The Real World? Is that?
I think that was one of her first things. Yeah, and then she pivoted into like amazing, legitimate actress, and not a lot of people have done that from that world, and she's getting better and better. But this project came to us because of the writer director named Emily Ting, who I've worked with on a movie called The Kitchen, is where I first met her, and then I produced my first film called A Year and Change that I got her to come along and help produce, and she wrote this, and she kind of said, "You and Jamie look at it," and we're like, "Yeah, sure." We finally got around to it, and we read it out loud, and we're like, "This is really good. Like, this has got a lot of potential." And so we sat and we gave her notes, and it's a really easy movie to produce in the sense that it's just two actors, they're walking and talking, but it was difficult in the sense that, and I don't want to take all the credit, like I did. Producing means I basically we helped it come to fruition, and we gave creative notes, but she did a lot of the actual legwork in Hong Kong, setting up the crew. She got the budgets. We didn't have to do any of that stuff. It was more just creative. Okay. Yeah.
And what's the story about?
Oh, it's about two people who meet one night in Hong Kong. It's very much inspired by the before. Now I'm blanking on it. Before Sunrise.
Yeah, yes. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy.
So it's like that walk and talk romance. So it's like two people, they meet randomly in Hong Kong one night. They have an experience, a crazy night, and then the second act is a year later they meet again, and it's one night. So it's just 2 nights in Hong Kong.
Okay. Yeah. And is there any like special twist to it, or is it just more so a relationship story?
It's
without giving away too much.
Yeah, I play an expat who's been living in Hong Kong for like 10 years, and she plays a Chinese American who's there on business, who's never been. So it's kind of interesting that like the white guy is the local, and we just basically explore this beautiful city together. And then, it's all about, I don't want to give it away, but it's like questioning what's cheating, what's not cheating, I don't want to give it away. If people haven't seen it, it's a good movie. I think it's on Amazon. You can watch it right now, or Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It was trending or whatever. Like,
okay, cool. Yeah. And so, obviously, working with your wife.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was great. We work on our stuff together all the time. So we're very used to each other, and we know our rhythms and how each other work. But it was interesting, since we were playing a couple that was falling in love, we wanted to build that chemistry a little bit, and we got 2 separate apartments while we were filming, and that was a lot of fun. So I could watch my NBA playoffs at like 4 It's great.
And so, I mean, obviously with her acting, and she's an influencer and travels quite a bit, and so do you. Obviously before COVID, when you were traveling a lot more, did you find that difficult keeping the relationship? Because you obviously see so many Hollywood relationships have challenges where a lot of the times it just comes down to proximity. I mean, when you're away from someone for so long,
I'm not going to lie and say that it's easy. Being in essentially a long distance relationship, but we make it work. We both like our space and we like our privacy, and we really truly value the time that we have together. So it makes that time much more special. And we're lucky enough that it's just the 2 of us and our dog right now. It's not like we have a family, so it's manageable at this point.
Yeah.
As we grow, we'll see how that works and how we play it. But this quarantine, I mean, I'd say we've been married 5 years. We've probably been together for like 3 of those, like 2 years, because we both work and we're just gone. And
so, like 2 out of the 5 years, you've actually have lived apart.
Yeah, probably. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. So a lot of FaceTime.
A lot of this. This is like, we might as well be married, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly my relationship.
Well, my girlfriend lives in Brazil, so I'm in the same situation. Yeah.
Oh, so you're not gonna see her for a while.
I haven't seen her 6 months.
Oh man.
Yeah. So a lot of FaceTime.
You guys still together?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah. We'll throw on. So like right now we're binge watching Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
So we just throw that on, throw FaceTime on, and it's like we're watching the show together.
Yeah, that's nice.
We like FaceTime dinner dates.
You cook together too, and yeah, that's nice. It's nice. I mean, it's better than the old days when you had to have the phone.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
It makes it manageable. It's not as good as being in the same room, but you can. Yeah. I mean, when are you gonna be able to see each other? 6 months. That's a long time.
Well, I mean, obviously, Brazil's still locked down right now.
Yeah.
So,
either way.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. We were hoping September, but we'll see.
Wear a mask.
Yeah.
Everybody
wear a mask. Wear a mask. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. I haven't done this yet on an episode. So Bryan, you're my first guest to be able to do this. I've got some questions from some of my audience where they wrote in earlier today on Instagram and Facebook. So if you guys are interested in asking Bryan any more questions, feel free to jump on here as well and chime in. But Jessica Brownlee, on the topic of relationships, asks, do you have any children? And if not, do you want them? You said you didn't. You have a dog.
Unless you count my dog, where he went. My dog Ewok, who I'm always like posing with on Instagram because I love him. And I spoil him. No, but we do want children. So yeah, someday. Yes. There's talk.
How many kids do you want to have?
At first I was like, I want two. Now I'm like, let's take one. Let's just whatever.
Yeah. Just go on an airplane for,
because we travel a lot. We live all over the place. So we want it'd be a lot easier to travel just one than two.
Yeah. Whenever I'm on an airplane and there's a screaming kid, I'm always just like, I always want kids. And then when I'm in that situation, I feel so bad for the poor mom or dad who's just trying to do everything they can to keep the baby quiet. It's yeah. Yeah.
I definitely do want kids.
All right. We've got Joelle Marquette is asking, what country would you like to film your next movie in?
I mean, America would be nice.
Everywhere.
That's a really good question. Oh, I already know the answer because I just wrote it. Israel.
Ah.
I wrote a movie that takes place in Israel, so I'd love to shoot it there.
I've never been. I'd always love.
It's amazing, fascinating, and complicated place.
Have you swam in the Dead Sea?
I have.
Actually, I heard in 30 years, the Dead Sea is actually going to evaporate.
Oh, because it's yeah.
So now's the time. You want to go float?
It burns.
Does it?
Way more than you think. Everything burns.
What else did you like in Israel?
I mean, there's just so much history there. I mean, all the religions. I mean, all the three major religions: Muslim, Judaism, Christianity. It all stems from there, and there's so much history there for thousands of years. People have been flocking to that country, and it's just the culture is so rich. So it's amazing. I mean, it's got its issues, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing place for sure.
Definitely want to go.
You can feel like, I don't know if you're a religious person. I identify as Jewish. I was raised Jewish, but I'm not super religious. But when you're there, I mean, you feel it. You feel the presence of something greater than yourself. That's all I can say. You feel it. It's like in the air because everybody else feels it.
Yeah. What religion is Jamie?
What's up?
What religion is Jamie?
I was raised Catholic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, did you convert, or did she convert, or
no?
No.
It's no. Yeah. We kept it. You know, I that's religion is my thing. I don't need it to be. I don't need to force that on somebody else. You know.
Yeah. Would you say you're a spiritual person?
I believe in something greater than myself. I think people, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I definitely believe. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Spiritual person.
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, like, I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
And, I just after traveling around the world and meeting people from all over the world who practice so many different religions, I just started to take, I just started to question, like, well, just because I was born in America and, I was raised as a Catholic, does that mean that that's the only one right religion out there? Because, I mean, obviously you're Jewish. There's people who believe in Islam, but then I lived in Japan for 7 weeks, and, they study Buddhism, and their Buddhism isn't even considered a religion. There's actually two different sects of Buddhism where some of them actually consider Buddha as a god, and then the others just think of Buddhism as a philosophy, a way of life. And so it just kind of seemed to me that, well, is it just random wherever you're born in the world? Like, if you were born in India, then you're a Hindu. And what I just, after having conversations with so many of these, different people who believe in different religions, ultimately it seemed like it all came down to the same thing, having this connection to something that you just said, something bigger, grander than yourself. And I think whether you are in Jerusalem or whether you go to a church, because I feel that whenever I go into a Catholic church, and I've been to like the Vatican, and you just get that sense that you're connected to something deeper, more meaningful. And that's my, I guess, idea of spirituality. And whether
I believe
that walking on a beach or when you're sailing or whatever that connection for you is, where you feel that connection to something bigger, deeper, more significant. To me, that's my spirituality.
I think that's well put. And I don't think there's one way, right, to the truth or whatever, or to God, whatever you want to call it. But there's many ways to get there, and there's many different types of observances. But in the end, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, I think there's definitely many different ways to have that connection to God or the universe or whatever it is. I think the unfortunate thing is when people think their one way is the right way.
Well, that's crazy.
And
how do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, you know?
Yeah.
You really know?
Right.
You believe that, but you don't. Yeah. You don't know.
Right.
So that I can't mess with.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely Jerusalem is a place that I'd love to go.
Yeah.
And visit. All right, let's move on to our next question. Let's see here. Jennifer Valentin. What did you like most about working on One Tree Hill?
I mean, look, at the time, it was just, I mean, it was one of my first jobs in television, and I had no idea how big this show would be. Like, to this day, it's like there's a whole new audience that's every year. There's like a new generation that discovers it on Netflix or I don't even know what it's on now. But I'm kind of blown away by how far-reaching the fan base is and how passionate the fan base has been on that show. More than anything, I've done a lot of different things, but this show has a rabid, passionate fan base. And what I think I love most about it was it really gave me a chance to showcase my music. And at the time, and because my character could, and it launched, my character played music, and it sort of launched this other career for me, playing music. And I got to tour and, put out a bunch of records, and that really gave me a legitimate platform to do that. So I'm just grateful for so much of that show, and still to this day, the fans that continue to watch it.
What was the audition process like for that?
I didn't audition. I worked on this movie called The Perfect Score, and the writer of that created One Tree Hill, and we got along, and he thought this role would be great for me, and he sort of gave me a part.
Amazing.
Yeah, totally. Especially at that age.
What's the phone number?
Yeah, right. So,
and then after that, you did Prime with Meryl Streep.
Yes. Yeah. That was crazy.
She's my ultimate all-time fave. What was that like?
Yeah. I mean, I was so confident and young at that time. Like, I was so naive to how the careers worked. And I just kind of came in like a young man, uber confident, right? Like ready to go.
Yeah.
And she could sense that, because I felt like I had to do like 6 different tests to get to this role. And I was a nobody at the time, to get that role I had to fight for it. And she's like, "So you nervous?" And I'm like, "Nah, I got this."
So this was after you got hired?
Yeah, when we were rehearsing.
Okay. Because I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily know with regards to actually booking a big time job like that. So similar to Something Borrowed, I went in was like 5 times before, because again, I was a nobody, and like playing opposite Kate Hudson, it's like you've got to like prove that you can deliver when you go through all these auditions. So what was that? How long was that audition process for you?
Oh man. Well, funny story that I don't know if a lot of people know. I actually tested for the film. Well, to answer your question, it was I think it was like 6 auditions. Yeah, 5 or 6. It was a lot.
Did you read with Uma?
No, I tested with Sandra Bullock. It was a real Sandra Bullock, and then and she signed off on me, and we had good chemistry, I thought. And then I don't know why she fell out after I got the job. And then there was like a list of like 3 actresses that they could fit in, and Uma was one of them. And Uma's only question was, this kid Bryan, how tall is he?
Oh yeah, because she's 6 foot, right?
Yeah. And so the producers lied. They said I was 6'1", even though I was like 6. And they gave me these little lifts to put in my shoe when I was around her, which I'm like 6 feet tall. Like,
you're a tall dude.
I remember like they were freaking out. I had to like get these molds to like put in. So they were nervous that I'd be too short for her, but it worked out.
So when you showed up on set, then Meryl Streep was like, so you got this?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I got this. And then she's like, I'm like, and then she's just like, uh-huh. And then I'm like, why? Are you nervous? And she's like, yeah, I'm scared shitless. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. It never ends. All right. Got it.
Yeah. It's
real quick, you know?
Would you say when you are auditioning or when you are working on a new project, how big are your nerves? Do you get nervous before shooting?
Man, I don't know about you, but I'm a terrible auditioner. I get so nervous.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm just bad at it. But when I'm on set, I'm like, I feel like I'm so loose and free. So
yeah, it's such a weird mind game that your mind plays. So what do you think it is when you walk into that audition process that trips you up?
Well, I don't know, man. I just think the pressure sometimes gets to me, but I don't feel that pressure when I have all day to shoot a scene and I know I have confidence of already having the role. I think the idea of having to prove myself, and like I don't know. It's a terrible feeling. It's like, it is. But some actors are different. Some actors are great auditioners and they can't deliver on set. And I'd rather be this. But I'm always better when it's like an offer. Like I don't know. When I'm on set, I have the confidence, and I guess it's just a lack of confidence when you don't have it. I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying to. I've come to a place with auditioning where I've stopped fighting it, and I'm just like, this is how it is. This is just like, you're always going to have to do it. This is part of the process. Just letting it go and enjoying it and trying to stay loose with it. And, you know, I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be. I used to get all worked up. Now I'm just letting it go.
I find it's the anticipation that trips me up. So like when I'm doing it, when you're in the process of it, much like, I write about this in my book, much like Michael Jordan being in the zone or any other athlete being in the zone, where you're just so in that present moment and enjoying the process. That's one of the things I love about acting, because when it clicks in and you drop into that scene where time stops and it's like, you could do this forever. That's the best part of acting. But it's like that getting to that place is almost like falling asleep. You can't really get there. You can only create the conditions for it to happen. So it's funny. There's an actor who he's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Skarsgård.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says when he was doing Broadway, he said before the curtain opens, he's freaking terrified, just like nerves up the wazoo. And he said, if there was a gun sitting on a stool right before I went out on stage, I would blow my brains out every time, because it's so nerve wracking. But he said, once I get out there and I say my first lines and I connect with the other actor, then boom, that's when we're ready to rock and roll. And even, and I've mentioned this before, but it's been a long day, Bri. Beatles.
Yeah. The Beatles.
John, Paul. Yes.
George and Ringo.
George and
Ringo.
Nope. John Lennon.
Okay.
Would throw up before every performance.
No way.
Yes. So there's still hope for us. And then there's stories I read of Leonardo DiCaprio actually doing cartwheels in the hallways of auditions before he'd actually go in.
Oh,
really? You have so much nervous energy before you go in there that a lot of the times it's just releasing that
Yeah.
Nervous energy before you get in.
Now I can't wait to do it again. It's just been so long because the business is totally shut down. So
yeah. Are you? Did you take many acting classes then? Because you went to Tisch, right?
Yeah, I went to NYU. Yeah, Tisch. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fantastic. I studied at the David Mamet School, Atlantic School. So I learned how to like interpret scripts and break down scripts. And that's really helped me now, I think, as I'm transitioning into writing. And then I did experimental theater, which is just totally working with your body. I got to study in Amsterdam for a summer, which was amazing. Like rolling around on the floor, acting like an animal, all the weird actor stuff you think of. That was great. And then I've studied with so many coaches and teachers in LA. I still try to study to this day and get coached. I'm always learning. I'm always like, you just never get there. You know, it's just a lifelong journey. Yeah.
Who would you say is one of your favorite acting teachers?
In LA, I've worked with this amazing teacher named Lee Kilton Smith. Do you know her?
No.
She's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say? So there's a lot of people out there who are actually looking to get into acting, and even being a musician. There's a lot of artists out there who are thinking about whether they should go into a career in the arts or to do maybe the traditional job of going to college and getting the regular job. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give someone who's considering going into a career in the arts?
Well, I can only speak from my own experiences. And I just know that I was so singularly focused my whole life, and still to this day, on pursuing a career in movies. And I think that really helped me out because I didn't have a backup plan. You know, I wasn't like, well, maybe I'll do this, because I was like, no, I'm just doing this. So I was sort of obsessive about it, and I, you know, I've had some success, and I think that I can only attribute it to my tenacity, you know? And so I think if you're on the fence, sure, take some classes, but if you are passionate about it, for sure, you got to follow through on that, you know? But just know that it's so hard. It's so hard. And like, you're going to hear stories of someone, you know, hitting it big, and even like us, like, a career, it goes like this. I can only count a couple people that I know that have just continued to work. Most people go like this. That's what it is, you know? And you just got to be okay with the highs and the lows of it. You know, you really do. You just got to appreciate that process, because you're in it. Once you're in it, you're in it. Like you branched out, done all these other things. I am not qualified to do anything but like, and that good thing, I still love it. You know?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't be so picky. Don't be so picky
about
choices. Don't like, I think I took my career a little too serious, and I would overanalyze. Well, if I do this movie, then what does that mean? Da, 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 da. Just flow, go with it. Don't overthink it. You know, I think I had a tendency to overthink things, you know, and I let a lot of roles go away that I think I could have made something great out of. And, you know, you don't get those things back. And not that I live in regret, because I have these lessons that I have now for the future. But just looking back on it, I think I took it I was a little too precious.
Do you think that came from your reps who were
partially
precious? And because I would get that too, where once I did one project, they just kind of got a little protective, or almost a little snobby about other projects. And I was like, but I kind of like that one. I think advice I would give to myself is listen more to my instincts.
Yes.
I just didn't necessarily trust myself as much when I first got out there, because I was like, well, this agent's been doing this for many years, so they probably know better than I do. And dude, inevitably, whenever I've gone against my gut, it's always come back to bite me.
Yeah. And I would give this other piece of advice. Can I add this? Another
thing? Absolutely.
Is create your own work. Like you and I were kind of same age group. We weren't taught that. when coming up. We're just like, oh, you're an actor, things will come to you. But then the generation, just like 5 years younger than us, they started like, the Donald Glovers, the Mindy Kalings, like the Aziz Ansari's. They all create their own stuff, and I didn't come to that realization till later. And I'm getting to now, but I was just never. I never thought in my mind that I'd have to create it as well, because it was just comfortable,
Yeah, definitely, so true. So there's a woman named Patty who wants to know, who do you draw your greatest inspiration from?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many people to look up to. My greatest inspiration. Wow, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe we'll get to it with the particular pick six in terms of who your inspiration with acting is.
Okay.
But was there someone that when you were growing up you looked up to?
I know it sounds corny and nobody knows who this guy is, but my father. He's a good, solid man, and whenever I have a question about anything, he always has the answer. Very knowledgeable, very kind, always provided for his family. I'd say both my parents. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Weren't they psychologists?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Did a little research on you.
Hey.
Yeah, my mom's a psychologist as well, family therapist.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. So did they give you any relationship advice before you got married? Always?
Yeah. And they're still together, so I listen to them. Yeah. They're also good mediators when we're working through things.
Let's see. Angela Contramanos wants to know, what has been your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Man, the biggest challenge. I have pretty bad attention deficit disorder, like really bad. It's hard for me to focus, and it's taken me for me to memorize lines, or for me to, when I was in school, to study for a test, it's almost crippling how bad it is. Like my attention span's all over the place. So just learning how to train my mind through meditation and really learn how to focus my mind has been one of the true challenges of my life, because it's crazy in there. So
what do you do? Meditation?
Constantly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
now I don't have to do it as much because I can just kind of tap into things. But early on, I had to do a lot to get the voices.
And what does that look like for you? I mean, do you sit down? You put on music? Do you do a guided meditation?
Guided meditations, yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'll do TM, transcendental meditation. I would just do a mantra over and over. But I've got so many thoughts running through my brain. I have trouble sleeping, so it's really good for me. And this is, my whole life has been like this. So finding meditation has really, really helped me calm those.
And I would argue to say, do a triathlon.
Yeah. I'm crazy. Today I rode in the heat, 25 miles, but I'll still won't be able to sleep tonight.
Really? Yeah. See, working out is my go-to.
Yeah.
And so you and I have done the St. Jude Triathlon in South Beach.
Yes.
A few times now.
We couldn't do it this year.
I know. Just such a shame, but it's always a good time.
Yeah.
You, me, Jeff Stoltz, Jeff Marsden's down there regularly.
And it's for St. Jude.
Good cause. Yeah.
Yeah. Which raises money for Children's Cancer Hospital. And, they do such great work. They're really paving the way in that field of finding cures. So and you get to meet the families and the kids, and it's truly, that's good work we're doing down there. Yeah.
So on the next round, hopefully in April, we'll be hitting you guys all up for some donations.
Yes.
So let's get into asking you what your favorite movies are, shall we?
Okay.
So this part of the show is brought to you by Picticular. This is a movie curating app where it allows you to to check out any genre of movie. So if you're going down, if you're sitting down to watch a movie, so you're not like scrolling through Netflix or, Apple TV, whatever, for hours. If you're looking for Bryan's recommendations for his pick 6, we're going to get to those right now. So the first
I don't know if I remember them.
Mr. Greenberg, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, of all time, it's Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Awesome
that's
movie.
the perfect film.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Good Will Hunting is also a perfect film in my mind.
Two of my favorite movies as well. What did you like about Back to the Future?
Back to the Future, I mean, honestly, Michael J. Fox is the reason I wanted to become an actor. I think he's fantastic. I hit me at the right age when I was a kid, in the 80s when that came out. It was like, that's exactly who I wanted to be. I used to hear that if you slumped over, it would stifle your growth. So I would always do that because I wanted to be short again. So now I got a bad back. I just think it's a perfect movie. It's got comedy, action. It's got a sci-fi twist. It's romance. It's got everything, and it's a little kitschy. Like the performances are a little big, but in cartoonish, but it works within that genre.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you know Michael J. Fox was a recast?
Yes, I did. Eric Stoltz, poor guy.
Yeah.
Never gonna live that
That's
down.
a shame.
Yeah.
But if you go on YouTube, you can actually see some of the scenes that they actually do a split screen.
Yeah.
So you can see Michael J. Fox's performance. And this is the thing, that was the dilemma. I think they shot like 6 weeks worth of footage.
Yeah. And then I think he was just like too serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just wasn't giving it the levity that the role needed. And I think the producers always wanted Michael J. Fox, and they were just able to get him out of his contract with Family Ties and to make it work.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then so you said, so we have your favorite movie of all time as Good Will Hunting, and your favorite.
Yeah, I remember it.
Back to the Future.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So favorite movie of all time. Yeah, sure. Good Will Hunting, and then favorite movie growing up is Back to the Future. I couldn't figure out which one to choose. This is like Sophie's Choice, man. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Good Will Hunting is a fantastic film. I think it's just the music was by Elliott Smith, who is my biggest inspiration musically as a singer-songwriter, and I just think Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Robin Williams, fantastic performances.
Yeah.
It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got, I like things that have a little bit of everything. I don't just be one genre,
Yeah, to me that's my favorite kind of movie, and Dead Poet Society as well, for sure. But I'm sure you knew this, but Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote that film, right? And when they were shopping it around Hollywood, they said, we'll sell this, but we come with the script.
Yeah.
Like Sylvester Stallone did with Rocky.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew this, but they started to hear that, I don't know what it was, but they'd heard that studios, much like that producer I told you about that said, well, I didn't read the script. I just know that if this actor is going to be in it, I know it's going to make money. So Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, just to preserve the integrity of the film, to see if any of these producers actually read the script. So when they started taking these meetings, they could tell that some of these producers hadn't read the script yet. So when they went to go meet with Harvey Weinstein, who actually ended up buying the script, they're sitting there and he said, yeah, no, this is a great script, guys. And they proceeded to tell him that a script is usually about 100 pages, 120 pages. They had written over 1,000 pages of dialogue for this, and they whittled it down to the 100 pages. And Harvey was like, yeah, no, this is a great story, but guys, I just have one question. There's the scene with the psychologist where Matt, you're in there, and it's before you meet Robin Williams, and he's questioning you about relationships. Why does he get down and give you a blowjob? And Matt said, "You read the script." He was like, "We just put that in there to see if anyone was actually reading the script."
That's amazing.
So whenever you do start shopping your script, put some little like Easter egg or something in there.
I want to do that.
To like see if the producers actually read your script. Little tip for you.
I like that.
What is your favorite comedy of all time?
Oh man, what did I say? Remind me. What is it?
Made.
Oh yeah, Made.
Yeah.
It's kind of an obscure choice. It's Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. It's their follow-up to Swingers. It's like, to me, it's so good because Vince Vaughn is hilarious in it, and it might be the most annoying character ever on film. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God.
I know.
So good. It's a great buddy comedy of two bumbling idiots who are, trying to go to New York to handle a mob job.
Is it as good as Swingers?
No, I just liked it. It's not as good as Swingers, but to me, it's got like amazing performances by Sam Rockwell. It's just like a little gem of a movie that not a lot of people know, and they should, so I try to promote it whenever I can.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now everyone can go to Picticular and watch it.
Yeah.
What is the movie that you're embarrassed to say you like?
All right, so I do like these buddy comedies, and I think Spies Like Us is like.
Yes, that's such a good movie. Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, right? Yeah. It was like 1985 or something.
The height of the Cold War, Americans versus Russia. I don't even know if that movie holds up to this day, but I loved it growing up, and it's got so many great one-liners in it.
Well, if this movie sucks, you can go on to Brian's Instagram and let him know. Who is your favorite male movie character or actor?
Who did I say? I said
put down two. One of them, actually, I love both these guys.
Paul Newman, did I say?
Yep.
Yeah. Who's the ultimate leading man, in my opinion.
Yep.
And, just tremendous performances. The Hustler, Cool Hand Luke. Even in his later career, The Verdict. Was, and also a great guy. Like, did a lot for charity. Just a good humanitarian. And then I think I picked Seymour Hoffman.
Yep.
And who, rest in peace, gone too soon, could do an actor that can do comedy and drama. It's pretty rare that they can do it so well. I mean, John C. Reilly's one of these guys, but Phil was, I wish I got to work with him. I never got a chance to work with him, and his work will live on forever. But he's just such a force to be reckoned with. Yeah,
I got through. Did you ever see him do anything live?
I saw him do Mice and Men with John C. Reilly. Did you see that?
No, but I saw him do True West.
True West, sorry.
Yeah, see that Theater in the Round?
Yeah, and they circled the other night.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was so incredible. I thought it was Mice and Men. Yeah.
So I mean, the thing about that, as you mentioned, was that each night they would switch. They would alternate who was who.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just mind blowing.
It was just a masterclass in acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Written by
Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard. I heard he wrote that like in 2 weeks with a few bottles of whiskey. By the way, do you have your coffee? There it is. It's your Irish coffee.
10 o'clock. It's my bedtime.
All right. And who's your favorite female movie character or actress?
I had to go with Meryl Streep.
I had to go with Meryl Streep.
She's the greatest ever. And, I feel like I know her, but I don't know her at all because every time I see her, she's a chameleon, And I mean, what can you say? She's like, she's the greatest. I don't think you can contest it, really.
I would say my favorite Meryl Streep movie was Kramer versus Kramer.
Yes.
Dustin Hoffman.
Favorite, man, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. Sophie's Choice. Dear, I mean, Devil's Pride.
I mean, yeah.
And everything she does is so good.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
That's an easy one.
Well, Bryan, you are so good, and I so appreciate you coming on the show, sharing some of your insight. For people who are out there who are looking to find out more of what you're up to, how can people check out what's latest and greatest?
I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I guess you can find me on those.
Do you have an album coming out or any?
At the moment, no. I put one out about a couple months ago, a year ago almost now. An EP, and so I've been focusing more on the writing these days of writing films. So we'll see what happens with those.
Awesome.
I think something good will happen actually soon because I had some progress.
Definitely. Well, we've been both kicking around in the industry long enough, and there's some people that come and go, and I can see why you've had the success you've had, because not only are you talented, but you're just a really, really good guy. And whenever I've seen you interact with the families and other people, like at St. Jude and just other events that we've been at, you've always been humble and down to earth. And I think that's one of the big reasons why so many people love you, dude, including me.
Thanks, Colin. That's really nice of you to say. And right back at you, man. I feel like you're just you keep changing and you keep finding all these new ways to express yourself, and I know you're successful in everything you do. So just keep doing it, man. This has been great, and you're already getting like huge guests, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I got you,
not me, other people.
But before we go, we got to ask you an 8-ball question.
Okay, do it.
So you get to ask the 8-ball anything. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it? What are you gonna ask?
When is this shit gonna be over? This coronavirus.
Oh, it says outlook good.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, let's go with it.
Coming.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being here again. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure.
All right. Take care. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. Again, if you're interested in checking out Bryan's Pick Six, download the Picticular app, and it will allow you to link to Hulu and Apple TV and Amazon Prime, so you can rent those movies. And if you're looking for more of what Bryan is doing, you can check him out on IMDb. You can see his latest projects coming up, and be sure to download his songs or check him out on Spotify. And again, thanks for everyone who came out tonight. We are going to be continuing again next week. And for those of you who are looking to get some more information about how you can get put some rubber on the road with regards to creating your own projects. I know we're all kind of stuck here and ready to just break out of being indoors and getting back to real life. But, a lot of what we're doing right now is having to pivot and find new opportunities and new ways of doing things. And that sometimes just requires some support and a community to help push you in the direction where you want to go. So if you're looking for that little kick in the butt, some goal setting, little assistance with helping you put your dreams down on paper and actually turn them into a reality, you can check out my website, colinegglesfield.com, and click on the Inspire tab. It's a 6-week online course where I help you create your own dream life by putting all of it down into a movie script format. So again, go to colinegglesfield.com, check it out, subscribe to my email newsletter, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get notifications for the next Coffee with Colin. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you next week. Take care.